Hey, cowboy.
Sorry, it's just a flyby.
The moment
last-
Amy notices the rider in the distance, silent, unmoving, watching her every step, she realizes the past hasn't stayed buried after all. And this time, it isn't just her heart on the line. A cold wind sweeps across the Heartland ranch as the day begins, carrying a strange stillness that Amy can't explain. She stands near the paddock, brushing Spartan, but her focus drifts toward the far fence line. Something feels off. It's the kind of instinct a horse whisperer never ignores. Spartan senses it too, lifting his head sharply, ears pinned in alert. Amy whispers soft reassurance, though she's unsure if it's for him or herself. All morning, she's felt watched. Not in a dramatic, someone hiding in the trees sort of way, more like the presence of someone familiar slipping back into her life without warning. Someone who didn't leave on good terms, someone who still holds a grudge. Up at the house, Jack sets down his coffee cup with a heavier thud than usual. He's been reading an anonymous letter delivered earlier. No name, no address, just a short message in dark ink. The debt isn't settled. Jack recognizes the handwriting instantly, though he doesn't say it out loud. He's not ready to stir panic until he's sure. But as he steps out onto the porch, his eyes scan the tree line with the same quiet suspicion Amy felt. The ranch has its shadows, and some shadows have returned before. But this feels different. Inside the barn, Amy tries to distract herself by checking on a new rescue, a skittish mare with a scar running down her flank. The mare backs away from every touch except Amy's. But even Amy can't calm her today. Every sudden sound makes the horse jump as if expecting danger. Amy studies the mare's eyes, wide, frightened, reflecting the same tension crawling under Amy's skin. It's as if the animal senses the storm building around them. When Lou arrives for a quick visit from the office, she's already irritated, juggling calls, papers, and deadlines. But when she sees Amy's face, her voice softens. Amy tries explaining the uneasy feeling lingering around the ranch, but Lou brushes it off as stress or lack of sleep. "We've handled worse," Lou says, though she doesn't sound convinced. Before Amy can respond, a sudden loud crack echoes through the ranch, something slamming against metal. Amy and Lou rush outside. A gate has been violently forced open. The lock lies snapped on the ground. The rescue mare darts out of the barn in terror, nearly colliding with Amy as she bolts toward the open fields. Amy shouts her name, but the mare is already gone, disappearing into the hills, leaving a trail of kicked-up dust and fear behind her. Jack arrives moments later, holding the anonymous letter in his hand. He opens his mouth to speak, but before he can, a truck engine roars to life in the distance. All three turn toward the sound. A dark-colored pickup idles on the ridge, too far to see the driver clearly. It sits there watching them as if waiting for a reaction. Amy feels her chest tighten. The rider she spotted earlier, the broken gate, the terrified horse. It all suddenly connects. The truck doesn't move closer, it simply lingers, a silent threat on the horizon, making its message painfully clear. Whoever is behind this isn't hiding. They want to be seen. They want Amy and her family to know that the game has already begun. And as the truck slowly backs away, disappearing behind the hills, Jack finally speaks the words he hoped he'd never have to say again. He's back, and he wants revenge. The news spreads through the ranch like a cold wind cutting through open doors. Amy tries to steady her breath as she walks toward the trailer, grabbing a halter and rope, determined to search for the runaway mare before darkness makes it impossible. But Jack stops her with a firm hand on her shoulder. His eyes hold a story she hasn't heard in years, one wrapped in silence, regret, and danger. Amy can tell he's been preparing himself to speak ever since that truck appeared on the ridge. Jack finally admits the truth. Years ago, he had a bitter conflict with a man named Wade Larkson, a reckless horse trader who used intimidation to get what he wanted. When Jack refused to sell a colt Wade had been obsessively pursuing, things escalated. Wade threatened the ranch, threatened Jack's family, and even attempted to sabotage one of Jack's horses during a rodeo. Jack confronted him publicly, and Wade ended up leaving Hudson after being humiliated. But he had sworn he'd come back one day, sworn he'd settle the debt Jack owed him. Amy listens carefully, pieces falling into place. The forced gate, the terrified mare. The anonymous letter. The figure she saw watching her that morning, Wade isn't targeting Jack anymore. He's targeting everyone Jack loves. And now Amy understands the fear in the mayor's eyes. Wade must have known exactly which horse to provoke to send a message. Amy clenches her jaw. This isn't just about revenge for him. This is about proving he still has control where it hurts most. Lou, shaken but trying to stay practical, suggests calling the police, but Jack refuses. Wade is careful, calculating, and slippery. Without proof, the authorities will treat it like nothing more than a missing horse and a broken lock. Wade knows the law well enough to avoid crossing lines he can't explain away. This battle, Jack warns, will have to be fought smartly, and on their terms. Amy insists on searching for the mare despite the danger, refusing to let Wade use her horses as pawns. The mare is alone, frightened, and vulnerable. Leaving her out there as night approaches is not an option. Lou reluctantly agrees to help, promising to stay close and keep her phone ready. The tension between them tightens. They both want to protect each other, but the fear of what Wade might do hangs heavy between every word. As Amy heads into the hills, Spartan following beside her, she can't shake the sense that she's not just looking for a horse. She's walking straight into Wade's territory. The wind whistles through the trees, turning each snapping twig into a warning. Shadows move unpredictably as clouds cover the sun, stretching like fingers across the fields. Spartan's ears twitch with every sound, and Amy knows he's sensing more than just the mare. Halfway up the ridge, Amy spots hoofprints skidding through the dirt. Fresh ones. The mare had run fast and without direction. Amy follows the trail, calling out softly, hoping her voice will calm the panic. But when she pushes through a line of bushes, she stops dead in her tracks. A rope hangs from a low branch, cut clean through. The mare had been here, tied here. And someone set her loose, not the runaway panic they assumed. Someone controlled her chaos. Amy's heart sinks. Wade isn't trying to hide. He wants her to know exactly where he's been. As she stares at the rope, a rustling noise comes from behind the trees. Spartan snorts nervously. Amy spins around, expecting the mare, or worse. But the bushes fall silent again. Too silent. Her instincts warn her to move, to leave, to regroup. But she forces herself to stand firm. If Wade thinks he can scare her, he's wrong. She won't give him the satisfaction. Yet deep inside, she realizes one painful truth. Wade is watching her, keeping a step ahead, and he's not done. Not even close. The sky darkens as clouds gather above Heartland, the air thick with the promise of rain. Amy continues following the trail through the ridge, each step heavy with anxiety and determination. Spartan nudges her shoulder gently, as if reminding her she isn't alone. But the feeling of being watched refuses to fade. Every dark patch between the trees looks like a shadow waiting to step forward. Every shifting breeze sounds like footsteps. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Lou tries to keep the others calm, but her own nerves are stretched thin. Katie senses it immediately, asking what's wrong, but Lou deflects with a forced smile. She doesn't want her daughter anywhere near the fear Wade's presence is bringing back. Jack walks the perimeter, checking locks, tracking tire marks, analyzing every small detail like a man preparing for war. Because in a way, he is. Wade doesn't attack carelessly. He chips at his enemies slowly, leaving them uncertain, exhausted, and vulnerable. Hours into her search, Amy finally spots movement near a narrow stream. The mare stands trembling, sides heaving, eyes wide with exhaustion. Relief floods Amy's chest, but it lasts only a moment. The mare isn't alone. Bootprints circle the watering area, fresh and deep in the mud. Amy steps closer, only to freeze when she sees a footprint facing the opposite direction, pointed directly toward her approach path. Her blood chills. Wade had been here minutes ago, and he knew she was coming. Amy approaches the mare slowly, whispering soothing words. The horse allows her touch this time, but keeps glancing over her shoulder, ears twitching toward the forest. Whatever Wade did to her left a deeper scar than the one on her flank. Amy ties the mare gently and begins leading her back down the trail, trying to quiet the pounding in her own chest. Spartan walks protectively beside them, his steps steady but alert. Just as they reach a clearing, Amy notices something out of place. A small metallic object glinting near a rock. She crouches down and picks it up. A broken piece of a pocket knife. Wade's pocket knife. She recognizes it instantly from stories Jack told long ago. Wade used to carve his initials into fence posts, tack boxes, even the side of an old trailer, a habit he thought made him look intimidating. This piece feels like another message, another breadcrumb leading her deeper into his game. Thunder rumbles across the sky as Amy pushes forward. The wind picks up, carrying the scent of rain and something else. Smoke. Her pulse spikes. As she rounds the next bend, her fears come to life. A small brush pile near the trail smolders, recently extinguished but still steaming. Wade tried to start a fire. Or more likely, pretended to, just to show he could. Amy looks at the tracks in the ash, footprints coming and going with deliberate clarity. He wants her to see all of this. He wants her afraid. And for a moment, Amy feels a flicker of it creep into her bones. But when she finally sees the ranch lights glowing in the distance, that fear is replaced by something sharper: resolve. Wade can watch all he wants. He can intimidate, manipulate, and pretend he's in control. But Heartland is her home, her family's home, and she won't let him tear it apart. Still, when Amy leads the mare through the gate and hands her reins to Jack, she feels the weight of everything she witnessed pressing down. Jack listens quietly, jaw tight, expression grim. Lou hovers nearby, pale and shaken. The ranch feels smaller now, surrounded by threats they can't see. As the first raindrops fall, Jack finally speaks the words they've all been avoiding. This isn't just revenge anymore. He's setting a trap. And Amy, I think you just walked into the first part of it. The storm breaks over Heartland with sudden force, thunder echoing across the fields. The ranch becomes a patchwork of flickering lights and moving shadows. Amy stands in the living room with Jack and Lou, each processing the truth in their own way. Jack paces slowly, hands clasped behind his back, while Lou clutches her phone, debating whether to call the police again. But Amy, she stares out the window, her reflection illuminated by every flash of lightning. She isn't terrified, she's angry. Wade crossed the line when he used her horses to send his message. That was his mistake. A loud knock hits the door. All three freeze. Jack motions for silence and approaches slowly. When he opens it, he finds a soggy envelope lying on the porch. No one in sight, just the storm. He brings it inside, dripping water onto the floor as he carefully tears open the flap. Inside is a single photograph, grainy, taken from a distance. It shows Amy in the hills earlier that afternoon, standing with Spartan and the runaway mare. Lou gasps. Amy feels her stomach twist. Wade hasn't just been watching, he's been following her, recording her, knowing exactly where she'd be. But the back of the photo holds something worse, a time written in bold ink. Midnight. Jack grips the picture so tightly it crinkles. Midnight means Wade wants a confrontation, and given his history, that confrontation won't be simple conversation. He's trying to lure them out, pull them into a final showdown where he controls every variable. Lou begs Amy not to go anywhere, insisting they should stay together inside the house where it's safe. But Amy shakes her head. Wade won't stop. He'll keep pushing, keep endangering everyone around her. Running isn't protection, it's postponing. As the clock creeps toward midnight, tension binds the ranch together like a held breath. Jack prepares quietly, checking the lantern, slipping on his heavy coat, refusing to let Amy face this alone. But Amy insists she'll go by herself. Wade wants her specifically. Bringing Jack could escalate things. He's already carrying the guilt of their past conflict. Amy won't let him carry the danger too. When midnight arrives, the rain has slowed to a drizzle and the world outside is eerily silent. Amy steps onto the porch, her boots crunching softly against wet gravel. The air feels charged, heavy with expectation. She walks toward the old trail behind the barn, guided only by moonlight breaking through scattered clouds. Each step takes her farther from safety, deeper into the heart of Wade's territory. As she reaches the ridge, she sees a faint glow, someone standing near a lantern placed on a stump. A tall figure emerges from the darkness, boots caked in mud, a crooked smile catching the light. Wade Larkson. Older, rougher, eyes burning with the same bitterness Jack once described. He claps slowly, mocking her courage. You came alone, he says, voice dripping with satisfaction. Just like I wanted. Amy stands firm, refusing to flinch. It ends tonight, Wade. Whatever you think you're owed, this isn't the way. But Wade steps closer, anger twisting his expression. Jack took something from me, something I deserved. And now, I take something from him. Amy's pulse races, but she doesn't back down. You're not taking anything. Wade smirks. I already have. Before she can respond, a distant whinny echoes across the ridge. Spartan's voice. Amy turns sharply. Wade's smile widens. He planned more than a meeting. He's dragged her out here to distract her while he goes after what she loves most. Real fear strikes Amy for the first time. She spins and bolts down the ridge, sprinting through mud and roots. Rain begins again, turning the ground slippery, but she doesn't stop. Every stride feels like the world closing in. Spartan is in danger, the ranch is vulnerable. Wade's revenge isn't just a threat anymore, it's unfolding right now. As she bursts into the clearing, the final image stops her cold. The barn door stands wide open, Spartan's stall is empty. And a muddy boot print leads straight into the darkness beyond the ranch. The game is over. Wade has made his move. Now Amy has no choice but to make hers, before he disappears with the horse that means everything to her.